My why has always been because I get to be involved with people's memories, and I get to be involved in creating an exciting time in their lives that they'll share with a grandfather, a grandmother, a friend, a work colleague, and I get to be part of creating that. And when that gets to be your daily focus, it's pretty exciting. I'd say believe in yourself, and you're going to make the right decision. When I was in Year 12, I had always wanted to work in sport, but I chose not to. And I chose to study something else. And I would have, going back, I would have said, you'll end up where you want to end up. So don't be afraid to see where life takes you and to trust that you will end up where you are meant to be. I would say the passion, and that not when you're dealing with people, sometimes they can let passion override a logical thought or decision. So when you're working in sport, you have to remember that at the core it is a business, and you do need to make some decisions that you need to take the emotion out of. That said, it's very challenging when you're working in a sport that is either very consumer focused or very volunteer based, and these people are so passionate about what they do and who they support that they don't necessarily understand a decision that you're making because it doesn't align with how they feel. So that's really challenging, to have the confidence and the knowledge that you're doing the right thing, and that you have to still engage with these people even though they might not necessarily agree with the decision that you've made. One of the biggest lessons I have learnt is when working in a high performance environment is that everyone's working towards the same goal, but we have to go about it very differently. A perfect example of that, when I was working in professional rugby league, is sitting down with a member of our high performance team and talking about how we approach a big game as opposed to how they approach one. And in their mentality, it was win at all costs, and we can't give anything away, and every 1% counts to making that result happen. Whereas from a commercial and business perspective, we actually have to work with our opponents in order to promote the game and to get the best result from a financial perspective. So that was a really big learning for me, that we are all working towards the same goal. But they're going to go about it very differently than we are, and we have to respect how they do it, and they have to respect how we do it. But at the end of the day, if we understand each other, that we are going to get there together. I think that one of the biggest ones is esports. I think that that's really changing the landscape of the younger generation and their interest in sport. Conversely, what that then does is it is a challenge around fan engagement and consumer engagement in sport, and that can be from a commercial membership, game attendance perspective, but then also from a participation perspective. So it's really challenging kids of a younger generation as to who they support or what sport that they follow, and the trends are really going to that e-sport industry, which is not traditional. So it makes the more traditional sports, and especially a sport like rowing, which is an Olympic sport, have to work a lot harder to be attractive to people, especially of a younger age, to spend time and take time out of their schedule to want to take part or consume our sport. Very strong time management skills. Exercise is very important to me, and I think not only for my physical health but for my mental health. So I'm very structured in terms of my daily routine of getting up and going to the gym, coming into work, and I think that really helps me become a better person and a better leader, because I'm able to sort of clear my mind of the stresses that occur that we all know exist on a daily basis, and I can take that out on the gym floor. I think you need to know that you're not always going to be right, and you need to be open to other ideas and to ideas that you might not necessarily agree with, but enough of your team or your organisation have the experience to know that it's going to be the right call. I think it's really dangerous if you think that anything that you say must be followed through. So I think it's being really understanding, and I would say another big thing is really explaining your decision to your staff, so that if you don't take on their advice, they understand why not, and so then you can each learn from that situation. Extremely important. I don't think you necessarily have to study in the field of sport in order to be successful in sport. I think it does help, but any form of education is important. That said, I think as important, especially in sport, is practical experience. So, managing a study and intern type situation, I think really helps people that are graduating now understand the area of sport that they want to work in, and what they decide they want to do might not be what they're studying. Yes, 100%. Definitely working in a amateur sport like rowing. All of our regattas are run by volunteers, a small staff from Rowing New South Wales, but we would not be able to run our biggest events or any event without our large volunteer base. Not only from a pure manpower perspective, but also the knowledge and the passion that they bring means that we run really successful and efficient regattas that we wouldn't be able to do otherwise. I think it's understanding that at times it won't be balanced. Again, I go back to talking about being fit and being active. It's really important to take that time when you can and in fitting it into your schedule to do something for yourself. But I think it's more about recognising that at times of the year, work is going to be more demanding, but then in the off-peak times, you're going to be able to catch up on more of your personal life. I think it is about the passion. I think sport is a unique industry in that it's based on a physical output of an athlete who dedicates their time, and they may be the most dedicated athlete, but they may not necessarily be the best. Also, the passion that people within organisations have, and also the people that support those sports have, makes it, you're dealing with people's emotions. So you can't sell a sport the same, or a sporting event the same way you sell a can of Coke. There are multiple reasons why people take part in sport, watch sport, follow a team, follow an athlete. So that's so varied and so vast that I think that really sets sport apart from any other business where, you might be dealing with a business-to-business relationship as opposed to a personal, emotional connection product.